Hi, welcome to eoLIFE Education. My name is Rosie Grummert, and myself and other eoLIFE experts, we come here to teach you all about how to use doTERRA's essential oils and doTERRA products. It's our mission that you don't ever have an essential oil or a doTERRA product that you don't know how to use. Hey, if this is your first time here, be sure and subscribe, hit that bell, because then every time that we put something up for you, you'll get notified. And of course, we love it if you would like this video too. We do our very best to answer every single question, and we love hearing in the comments about what's working for you. So hey, let's get learning here on eoLIFE Education. All right, welcome to our Staying Strong and Sane webinar. My name is Rosie Grummert. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. And I want to start out by just sharing a little tiny bit about me. I have been using essential oils for a long time. I got my first essential oils in 1985, and I started having experiences with doTERRA's back in 2011, and they had a major impact on me. And so that's what made it so that I wanted to teach others and help them to know how to feel better with essential oils and doTERRA's products in their lives too. But if you go back to that big gap of time in between there, I always was kind of a granola. I can remember my mom, she decided to quit smoking when I was in middle school. And at that time, suddenly we were having a whole bunch of vitamin C and echinacea, and she was buying like wheat bran and adding it into everything that we were eating. And she just went on this massive discovery with food and health and wellness and vitamins and supplements, and she just pulled me right along with it. It was one of the things that we shared together, right? Saw amazing things with her as she quit smoking and was able to help detox her body and boost her health and her immunity. And then I was still pretty relatively young when my father was diagnosed with cancer, and he did live for several years. But again, that just created another shift in our family, right? That focus on, oh, what part does fiber play in all of this, and how can we boost the immune system with what we're eating and what we're putting in? So that's more of my background. As I went and had my own family, one of the things I did step into was I worked in an herbal apothecary, was part owner in a business where a herbal apothecary was part of that. And I learned so much there. Started out with all of that. I've always loved to garden. We've grown a lot of our own food, and I've fermented foods. I was telling somebody else, oh no, I know how to make cheese and butter. And we've had chickens, and we've had rabbits, and we've had cows, and we've had large gardens, and I can pluck a chicken. Just, you know, it's like I'm like a pioneer, but not really, I guess. So all of this, if we can put it all together, like how can that help you right now, right? So the goal of this webinar is to empower you. Whether you're someone who's never used essential oils before, you've never used some of these holistic or natural or plant-based or food-based solutions or not, my goal is that you walk away with at least one thing that you feel like you can do today with what you have in your own home right now. So if you want to stay connected to more education like this kind of thing, and it is definitely essential oil centric, then you can join my group that is eoLIFE Hub, and that little bit.ly link would take you right to that group in Facebook, and you can request to join. Just answer the questions, so then the people that help me can approve you in really quickly, and then you can see some of the other classes and things we have recorded in there. Okay, if you want to be able to have an info sheet about the things that I am sharing tonight, then go ahead and text. This is a text only business number. This isn't my personal phone number. Just put in your first name and the word send strong and sane info sheet. Now, to be honest, it's only part we put together, so don't plan on getting that tonight if you're live on the webinar, okay? And the other thing I need to say here is inside of doTERRA, the company actually is really different than a lot of other companies I've been a part of. I stand as a leader in doTERRA. I have a lot of people that I teach and support and I help and I love that aren't on my quote unquote doTERRA team, right? And I have a lot of people who are on my doTERRA team that they learn to love from other people who are leaders in doTERRA. So just because someone's texting me to get this info sheet, it doesn't mean that I'm going to follow up with you to see if you want to have a doTERRA account with me. There's somebody else that's teaching you. If there's someone else that's been helping you and giving you samples, then anything I talk about today in this webinar that has to do with doTERRA, reach out to them. Say, hey, I was on this webinar with this Rosie girl. She said this, this, and this would help me right now, and have them help you, okay? Because our organization, our business, it relies on those relationships, on those connections, and I would never want to be seen as someone that was taking somebody else's customer. So don't worry, you can text me just to get the info sheet. That's all it'll be used for. That's why I have you put in the body of the text, send Strong and Sane info sheet. And then if someone else is teaching you, you can reach out to them on getting any doTERRA products you might want. Okay, so look at this garden. I love this. Now, I know it's not a perfectly trimmed, like English garden. I've been in some beautiful gardens before, but this is more like the kind of garden I've always had, right? It's a place where kids can play in the walkway, where you can sit and sip some water or have something cool to drink and read a magazine there in the corner, and bugs and birds are all around, and you can see how it looks like it's a backyard garden. And I just really love this picture. Now, what does this have to do about what we're going to talk about today? Well, it has a few things to do with what we're going to talk about today, and it'll make more sense as we go through. One of the first things that I want to bring to mind is when we are talking about staying strong and staying sane, then everything that has to do with our gut and our brain and our immune system is all connected. Now, I could have put a picture here of like an aquarium or of a fish pond, right? Because it's the same concept. We have these little systems, and these systems, things happen inside of them that all rely on each other in order for it to be the healthiest that they can be. So it's easy for me to talk about the gut and talking about like the soil of your gut and pulling out the weeds and putting good seeds in the place once you clear things out, right? But the same thing could happen in that little system that is like inside of a fish tank. For years, we bred fish. When I was homeschooling some of my other kids, that was science. We were breeding fish and birds, right? And so just think about that as we're going through, when all of these systems are connected. So whenever you make a shift in one of the systems, it makes a shift in another. For example, see that little marigold plant? If you're not a plant person, you look at the thing that looks like it's what the peas will grow up, and there's squares, right? That trellis, on the closest end to us, there's a little flower, and it's a marigold. And one of the reasons to plant marigolds in there is because of the bugs that it can attract and the bugs that it can repel. So this is a symbiotic planting going on right here in this garden bed. And it's a beautiful symbol of what we can do inside of our own bodies too. All right, so we're going to start with your mind. How many of you have had days that have felt like this, or maybe moments, right? Maybe you've had moments in some of the last few weeks where you felt like this. And the reason why I wanted to have this image here is because unless we can really get down to some of the maybe not so pretty minutes of what's been going on, then it can be hard to be motivated to make some shifts or changes that will be long lasting and really have an impact for you and for your family as we navigate even maybe the next few weeks or maybe even few months, right? So think about a time that you have felt like this. Think about what that felt like in your body. For me, it usually feels a little bit like a pit in my stomach. It might feel a little bit hard to take in a deep breath. I can feel tension in my head. I just feel that tension all through my face. I might even start to feel weepy. That's what that can feel like to me. And it's important to be okay with feeling where those things are in your body, because that's how you can tell what to do to help yourself to move into a different space. So one of the first things I want to talk about is about mindset. So these different emotions that show up here on the screen right now, these are some of the lowest vibrating emotions that we have. Shame, separation, secrecy, silence, judgment. And not that everything that we're going through right now has to do with all of those pieces, but if you think about our physical separation while we're doing our social isolation, then you can see how some of these things can slip in, right? I mean, separation for sure. So now let's look at this. Look at how we can flip that around. Look at some of these tools that are available to us if we just are aware, and maybe make a list and put it on the fridge or put it on your bathroom mirror, put it all over the place, right? So instead of shame, more sharing, bring things out in the open. Instead of separation, more connection. Instead of secrecy, honestly, like be honest. If you're having a hard day, be honest so somebody else can reach out and help you. Instead of silence, communication. And instead of judgment, and that includes self-judgment, is acceptance. All of these things are key. Take these other words, these positive words, over on that positive side, and put words like that all over where you can see them. Make your phone screen, lock screen, so that it's a positive mindset word to help yourself to flip as fast as possible, right? And we'll talk about things you can do with that, with the oils, when we get a little bit further in here too. Another thing I want to talk about is this wet blanket effect. One of the books I read last year, and it wasn't my first book of hers that I'd read, but this one really impacted me, even with some of the concepts, well, actually a lot of them, being the same as ones that she talked about in books that I'd read before. And this was Brene Brown's book, Dare to Lead. She talked about this wet blanket effect, right? So what happens when we are under stress or we're in these low vibrating emotions? We numb. And here's the outcome that happens. Like, we are the most in debt in the US, the most obese, addicted, and medicated adult population in US history. So she didn't look at the stats from other countries when she was putting this out there. She just was talking about in the history of the US. And the problem is you cannot selectively numb emotion. We can't say, okay, here's disappointment, here's grief, here's shame, here's fear. I don't want to feel those ones. And just numb those ones. When you cover and numb those negative emotions, instead of feeling them, finding a way to process them, finding a way to work through them, then you actually cover all the feelings. You cover joy, happiness, gratitude. They all get this wet blanket over the top of them. And it muffles out everything, all emotions. It can't distinguish one emotion over another. It's a muffler to all of them. It's important to understand this because it's also a secret to being able to move out of feeling that way. It's why, if you've ever kept a gratitude journal, that it can pop you out of those spaces of having the negative emotions. Because when you wake up one positive emotion, you wake up others. So if you want to be able to experience the highs too, the joys and the exhilaration, then you've got to find a way to recognize, honor, pull it aside, do something with it, with the negative ones, right? So we're going to talk about that. Having this knowledge plus some skills and new actions is going to create some real and sustainable change. And connection keeps those negative emotions powerless. So as you might be having different patterns and you're not getting to see the same people that you've seen in the past, find new ways to connect. Find new ways to feel that connection so that those negative emotions don't have as much power. So here's, this kind of reminds me of a commercial. Here's your brain on drugs. No, that's not the topic of the day. Okay, so here's your brain, and here's a little side shot of what I'm going to talk about next. I want to talk about the olfactory system and your limbic system and why it is that when you smell something, it can have an impact on you. So if you look inside the human brain, your limbic system is that area that's kind of that dark red in the bottom middle of the brain, on the side cut of the brain. And our olfactory system, it actually wraps up around that olfactory bulb. It wraps up around the amygdala and makes it so that when you smell something, it triggers that amygdala. Now, why is that important? Well, when you smell something, two things happen. You have, first of all, the little tiny natural chemical constituents of the pure essential oils. They go into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. So it's a delivery method, right? It goes actually in you. The other thing that it does is that aroma, and this is why smell is our strongest sense, goes right over that olfactory bulb and basically gets linked right in to the limbic system, which is where all of our memory and emotion are stored. So can you see how this nerve just wraps right around in here, and all of our memory and emotion are stored right in here? It's why, like for example, when my father passed away, I have one of his Irish knit sweaters. And I could, for years, I could hug that sweater and I would be able to basically feel like my dad was right there with me. And it was because of how strong that sense of aroma is. So as you want to shift your mind, change your emotions, flip into a positive mindset, feel more joyful emotions, anytime you take an essential oil, and I've got some ones I recommend, but in reality, any of doTERRA's essential oils are going to do this. Put a drop in the palm of your hand, rub it out, rub it over your hands just a little bit, and then take several deep and complete breaths of that essential oil. You think the new positive thought while you're breathing those breaths, and you will literally feel the calm and the relaxation go over your body. You will feel a difference. And the more that you do it, the faster you're going to get that response out of smelling your essential oil. So lemon is one of those ones that a lot of people have in their home and they just don't recognize the benefits it can have. All citrus oils are mood lifting because of their natural chemical constituent makeup. So whether you have lemon, orange, grapefruit, bergamot, it goes on and on. We've got red mandarin, green mandarin, right? Any of those citrus oils, put a drop in the palm of your hand. If you've got your oils with you, do it right now. Put a drop in the palm of your hand, spread it out just a little bit, and take several deep breaths, really deep and slow in through your nose. And feel that relaxation. The other thing you can do with lemon, which will support more than just your brain, is you can put a drop of doTERRA's lemon oil in 8 to 16 ounces of water in a glass container. You don't want to use plastic. And just have that in your water each day. It works a little bit like it's cleaning off the receptor sites in your brain. It also helps your body to regulate inflammation, and it helps support your immune system. So, did you know that lemon was such a powerhouse for all three of these things we're talking about? I mean, again, just like the garden, all the systems are connected, right? So lemon is your friend as you're going through these next few weeks. Another one that is your friend is the frankincense essential oil. Frankincense is one of the most highly studied oils that I've ever seen. If you want to have some fun and you're looking for something new to do, go to pubmed.gov. That's where the government stores all of their studies on things like essential oils and other things that they study. And look up boswellia. See the subtitle on the frankincense bottle? Look that up on pubmed.gov. You will see fascinating things on that's frankincense, right? That's the Latin name for frankincense. And you will see fascinating things on what has been studied with frankincense and what it does for cellular repair, just to speak compliantly, what it does for supporting the brain, what it does for inflammation. It's pretty phenomenal. This is another one of the oils that you can use internally, and it is going to support all three of the things that we're talking about: gut, brain, and your immune system. All will be impacted by using frankincense essential oil, either internally, aromatically, or both. This is one of the long-standing old favorite blends from doTERRA. I have found even my people who have had accounts all the way back from 2011 with me, most of them have balance in their homes. The balance is known as a grounding blend. It's made up of primarily tree oils. It does have frankincense in it too. And it's one of the few blends that it does have a little bit of fractionated coconut oil in there so that it's the right viscosity to be able to come out of the bottle. So just putting that in there, because I know sometimes we have someone who's allergic to coconut oil. That is an ingredient inside balance. This is an amazing one for putting it out on your hands, smelling it in. I also recommend people to put it on the thin skin behind their ears. And you can even put a swipe right under your nose with this balance blend. It's amazing in a diffuser. You can impact your entire home with this balance blend, helping people feel more grounded and more balanced. Now, my own son, who's 12, he's been around essential oils since he was born, and then doTERRA specifically since he was about 3. And so this is an uncommon thing for at bedtime that we'd maybe put oils on his feet, on the bottoms of his feet, put oils up and down his spine, or maybe put something on his wrist so he can be smelling it as he's going to sleep. Or in the diffuser. Like, these are all common things. He's been around oils for a long time. But I have to tell you, the sweetest thing, as we've been home these last few weeks together, every single night he's asking for oils on his spine. And he does have some that are his right there on his headboard. And I'll be like, well, what do you feel like? I can't tell you how many times balance makes the list of what he feels like. And many times we're putting some On Guard on the spine, we're putting some balance on his spine, we're putting some serenity on his spine, put maybe a little bit of Breathe and On Guard in his diffuser. And not only is there some great human connection going on there, amazing things happening for his own immune system and gut and brain because of that human touch and all the things that are being released through that touch and stimulating the oils on the spine. And then also the benefits that the oils themselves bring, right? So this is another great one to put to use right now in your own home. This is a newer part of the doTERRA line that I found that a lot of my customers that have been around for longer, they're not familiar with it. This was just introduced to doTERRA's line last September. And the adaptive system has 3 different pieces to it, as you can see. There's the diluted 10 ml roll-on, there's the 15 ml undiluted oil blend, and then there's also the adaptive calming capsules. The reason why they did a 3-part system is because there are 3 different ways that people like to use their products, right? The difference is the adaptive supplement isn't just the oil in there. There are also some very high quality omegas, like the ahi flower seed oil, that help basically act as like a brain food. It helps your brain to genuinely feel calmer. This product itself, the oil blends and the capsules, they did human clinical studies before they released it. And the results that they saw and how people felt before they were using it to when they were using it were phenomenal. The undiluted oil blend is meant to be used in a diffuser, but I'll tell you, it is still perfectly safe to just put a drop on the palm of your hand, to breathe it in deeply, put it on the thin skin behind your ears. It's okay to use even neat topically. And then for those people that love the convenience of a 10 ml roll-on that's pre-diluted, they have that in a 10 ml roll-on. One thing I like to tell people when they're going to explore using the adaptive system is everybody's different. Some people, it helps them more to use it in the morning. So it helps with the brain chatter and to kind of regulate those cortisol responses and those quick reactions all day long. And other people, they like it better to take it at night, kind of help turn off the brain chatter. I personally take it in the morning. There's a small amount of GABA in the adaptive calming blend capsules as well. So it really is supporting your brain chemistry. And anytime you're supporting your brain chemistry, you're also supporting all of those responses that go on that impact like inflammation and impact your immune system, impact your gut, all the other pieces, right? So if you need more information about the adaptive system specifically, reach out to the person who's teaching you And the other good thing to know is I found that most people when they get started, if they order the complete set when they get started, they get all 3 parts in order to integrate it into their life. And then the 15 mil and the 10 mil tend to last longer than the 1 month supply of the capsules. So then when you reorder, you can just reorder just the bottle of the capsules. Okay, this actually should be in every single section, but as I was putting the slide deck together, I was trying to figure out where the best place for it to be would be, and I decided to have it go in here with the mind. Because of the omegas, the high ORAC score, and the fact that it's whole food nutrition, what it does for the nervous system and everything for helping to reduce inflammation, I decided to put it here in the mind. I have coached people with supplements and used supplements myself, like I said at the beginning, from when I was in middle school. And this is the only supplement pack where I actually feel different when I'm taking it or when I'm not. The other ones kind of were more like an insurance policy. In fact, actually, I reflected on this and I'm like, yeah, I was taking them for when I was old, like now. Like I remember when I was in middle school thinking that somebody that was in their 40s and 50s was really old, right? So if you want to feel differently, if you want to be able to have more mood management, if you want to know you're getting the nutrition that you need during this time, and maybe you're not getting all of the things you normally are able to get, and if you also understand that the food that's in our food supply, even without times of stress in our country, that we don't get the nutrition out of it that people did generations ago, then Lifelong Vitality Pack is a great thing for you to start with. Another great piece of information is I do have the MTHFR gene, and the folic acid that's in here is safe for you to take with that particular autoimmune piece as well. Okay, let's move into gut. Okay, so I put this here not so that you guys would like actually get it all, but have you ever looked up the brain gut health connection? Have you ever looked that up? And you're going to find pages and pages of stuff like this. Like this is not just somebody's wonky idea out there. This has been highly studied, it's documented, and it's real. Our gut is our second brain. If you want to feel better mentally, work on your gut. There's a strong connection. It's not just somebody's idea, right? This breaks it down a little bit more and simplifies it, right? Doesn't that look so much simpler? And basically it's saying that the gut flora, basically that what's going on in that soil of your gut, it impacts what's happening in your brain. So if you want to improve your serotonin uptake, you want to have better balanced GABA, you want to be able to be experiencing more of those highs and those joys that we're talking about, then pay attention to your gut. So this is just a quick snap of what my lunch was today. It's got really big, sorry about that. And the reason why I said that is because here is the reason why I was able to have a lunch like this today. And the reason why I was able to have a great green smoothie with some extra protein this morning is because I prepare in advance. So in my fridge, all the greens and the salad stuff was already all chopped up. The chicken just happened to be a leftover chicken breast from a couple nights ago. So it was really easy for me to cut it all up, put some papaya seed dressing that we had over the top, mix it all up and have my lunch. Same thing with my smoothie this morning. I mean, if I look at what I've had so far today, I've had, according to the USDA guidelines, I'm trying to think, I've already had 9 servings of fruits or vegetables today. Pretty darn good, right? So almost everything can be regulated by putting more good in, and then there's less room for the bad, and it can also force the bad out, right? So whether it's our thoughts, whether it's our food, anything like that, it's something to keep in mind. What you eat does matter. We want good fertilizer going in there into the soil of our gut. This is something that I use on the daily. This is doTERRA's PB Assist. I didn't get a picture that included what the capsule looked like, but it's a double layer time-released capsule. The inner layer, the inner capsule inside, it doesn't get released until it's down inside of your gut. What does that mean for you? Since it's being released down inside of your gut, your body actually absorbs it. It can actually use it. For years, I recommended people to take probiotics that in truth, a whole bunch of those active cultures were getting killed off inside of their stomach. So with this probiotic, it's not released till it's in your gut. And I've seen people have amazing results with using this probiotic over ones that they get in other places. And because it's all encapsulated, it does not need to be refrigerated, which is another bonus. The beautiful thing about probiotics is if you want to boost your gut health, your brain health, and your immune system all at the same time, this is a powerhouse. It's like a trifecta to be able to use the PB Assist. In fact, at this time in our family, we're actually taking 2 per day, all of us. We're power loading our probiotics right now. This is another thing that we use all the time. Have you thought to consider how well you're digesting what's going on around you right now? Are you digesting emotionally all the news, all the things you're hearing, all the things your mind is thinking about? So digestive enzymes don't just help with digesting your food. In fact, the enzymes in our bodies are used for so many different functions. There's enzymes that are really for your brain. There's enzymes that really are for helping to repair your muscles. There's enzymes that are for all different functions in your body. Our body is going to keep the engine running no matter what. So let's say you don't have enough enzymes in what you're eating in your diet. And by the way, you only get digestive enzymes in raw food. So if your food is dead, processed, cooked, then there's no digestive enzymes in there. So let's say I'm not getting enough digestive enzymes, I'm having some additional stress. My body is going to go, well, I need to have enzymes to keep the stomach digesting, because if we don't keep the engine going, nothing keeps going. And it's actually going to borrow enzymes that were earmarked for your brain function, for example, or that were earmarked to be able to help your muscle repair or help to knock down inflammation in other parts of your body. So if you want to help keep all the systems running, digestive enzymes. And as we age, we stop creating as many naturally also, to access those. So I take anywhere between 3 and 6 of these in a day. 6 is only if I've gotten into some gluten or I've had something really heavy that my body's not breaking down. But most of the time I've got at least 2 and then sometimes 3 digestive enzymes that I have every day. This is also something that we have our son Noah take. He has some focus issues, and so we've got a whole regimen of things that we do with him to help support his gut-brain connection too. Again, lifelong vitality pack. You guys are gonna get tired of hearing that. This is like your insurance plan. Make sure that you're covering all of your bases. It's also the only product that doTERRA has in their product line that even if you took it for 30 days, you ate all gone, you took the whole thing, they will give you your money back. Other products, their return policy, it's credit that you can use to get other things. Lifelong Vitality Pack, they would give you your money back. All right, let's talk about the immune system. If you haven't heard about the On Guard oil blend, I wanted to put on here all the different ingredients that were part of the On Guard blend. This is another one of those situations where if you want to understand more about the function of each of these oils and what it can do for different nasty bugs on surfaces, nasty bugs flying around in the air, nasty bugs that get inside of our bodies, you're going to need to go to pubmed.gov, because I am not going to make any claims or have anybody who feel like I'm saying that it's going to do something, again, make any claims. I will tell you, I have seen miraculous things with this On Guard blend. I have seen situations where people were using everything that their doctor was giving them, and when we added that boost of using On Guard as well, that the body was then able to do what it needed to do. So this is part of our daily routine. I have a bottle of On Guard essential oil on my nightstand, and every morning before I wake up and every morning before I go to bed, I'm putting a drop or 2 in my mouth. We also, like I talked about before, we're putting it on Noah's spine. We also have On Guard Touch, so it's pre-diluted. That's really great for if you've got kids or people with sensitive skin in your home. We are running it in our diffuser. We've got a diffuser down on the main floor that's working all the time. doTERRA also has an On Guard cleaner concentrate. We make our own cleaners, and I've spiked my On Guard Cleaner Concentrate right now. So I mixed it up per the ingredients on the bottle, and then I added another 10 drops of the On Guard blend. So every time before we go to wipe down the counter, we just shake it up and we use that. Doorknobs, light switches, all those kinds of things, just part of our cleaning routine, right? We also have this On Guard foaming hand wash, and that's at every single place around our house. Now, I will say, we've always been good hand washers. My husband and I both had worked in food service at one time. I worked in health and wellness. Like I said, I think I shared with you guys, I worked in respite and hospice for 23 years. So I know how to wash hands. It's always been part of what we've done. And with where I live and it being dry and the additional hand washing that we're doing, like anytime we come back in the house, anytime we have contact with things, my hands were getting so dry. My recommendation for you for that is doTERRA has a body butter that is amazing. If you have that in your home, use it. It's actually sold out right now because a lot of people were like, oh yeah, that works really well. And if you don't have that, doTERRA also has Correct-X. If you have that in your home, that is going to do some really good things if your knuckles are cracking or that kind of thing. And another thing that many people have in their home right now that they could use also is just regular coconut oil. If you have coconut oil like what you cook with, you can add a little bit of your lavender, a little bit of frankincense, like put some coconut oil in the palm of your hand, let it melt, add a drop of frankincense, a drop of lavender, and then spread that on your hands, and it's going to help that skin to heal up faster. We are also using On Guard in some of the things that we're eating. This talks about soaking apple slices in water. That works really well. It's great. We'll also like to add a couple drops of wild orange in that water while soaking those apple slices. And another thing that we love to do is we'll pop popcorn, and after it's popped, we'll put a drop of On Guard in with whatever you're coating onto your popcorn. We like to use coconut oil and just have a nice spicy and almost a little bit sweet popcorn as a treat. It's another way that we're getting it in. Okay, let's talk about some of the other threats, what's going around right now. Every time we use an essential oil physically, it also has impacts emotionally. So if you have the Breathe blend, or if you have eucalyptus, if you have the laurel leaf, or even cardamom, some of those are part of our line all the time. Sometimes some of those are ones that we've only been able to get as a special bonus, right? All of those help to open the airways. So Breathe has become a regular part of our routine these last several weeks. We're using it in our diffusers at nighttime. In some of the bedrooms, the person prefers On Guard and Breathe together. And in some of the bedrooms, the person prefers the Serenity blend and Breathe together. doTERRA also has a Breathe stick. It's Breathe that's been put into like a little twist up stick that you can put directly on your chest. If you find you put Breathe right on your chest and it feels a little too prickly, then just get some coconut oil in your hand, put it over the top. And if it still feels a little prickly, a little bit more coconut oil, put it over the top. And that's going to dilute it. So you still get that full amount of Breathe that you put on, but the top layer of the skin isn't going to be going, oh, whoa, this is kind of prickly. I don't love this, right? Whenever we are trying to support somebody with respiratory things, we will actually take Breathe and frankincense together in the palm of our hand. And if you have thyme or marjoram, you can add 1 drop of that too. So honestly, I want to say it's usually like 3 drops of Breathe, 2 drops of frankincense, and like a drop of thyme. And then add about the same number of drops of coconut oil in the palm of your hand. And you just mix that together in the palms of your hand as you rub them together. And then you put that all over the front and the back of the person's chest. All the way, anywhere where the rib cage is, that's where you would put that blend, even if you needed to mix a little bit more in your hand, like on an adult, so you get enough to cover their back and the front, all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage. And that has amazing, amazing support ingredients to help open the airways, reduce inflammation. And like I said, this has become one of our regulars right now. Another thing that you can do is put this Breathe just right in the palm of your hand and just take a few deep breaths and you will feel it open your airways. Now, this is a really cute picture. I love it. And then I also hate it because when you smell an essential oil right out of the bottle like that, you only get the smallest constituents for quite a while. because it's those little teeny tiny constituents, the smallest molecules, that will be able to rise up and float out of that little tiny orifice reducer first. So in order for you to get full benefit of an essential oil or of an essential oil blend, you really need to put a drop out on your hand, spread it out a little bit, and then take several deep breaths. This is another thing, this all belongs in the threats category as well. So just to make sure that if you're taking notes that you put that into the threats category. Right now doTERRA has where we can get 1 On Guard 15 ml, you can get 1 hand sanitizing mist, and I don't think somebody might have to correct me, I think we can get 1 foaming hand wash right now too, but the thing that we can't get right now are the On Guard soft gels. So we do have On Guard soft gels currently still in our home, and so we are each taking, Noah's taking 1 of those per day, and we are each taking 2 of those per day, just as a preventative. You can also make your own. If you're inside our eoLIFE hub, there's a recipe of mixing up a master blend of the oils that are in the On Guard Plus soft gels, and then you can just put those into empty veggie caps in order to take those daily as well. And just so you know, the things that are not available with doTERRA right now, they aren't because doTERRA doesn't have enough oils. It's not that they're not prepared. They source very responsibly. They test every single time they source from a grower, and they have lots and lots of oils on hand. Where we're seeing that things aren't available is when there were parts that were manufactured, or even the whole thing is put together somewhere else, and it's getting it transported to where it can be shipped out to you. I've been talking a long time. Okay, we're gonna go quickly. I get a drink of water. These are different diffusers. This is another thing you want to have in your home to help manage threats right now, right? Excuse me. And I just put this in here real quick so you could see how some of them cover like more square footage, less square footage. One of our favorite ones are the 2 that are in the middle, the Aromatouch and the Lumo. The output is great. We can use them in larger rooms. But all of them are really good. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, what's the difference between doTERRA's diffusers and ones that I can just get out there somewhere else? There's 2 differences. One is the quality of the ultrasonic disc and how fine it makes the microparticles of the essential oil. So a higher quality diffuser is going to be vibrating at a higher rate, and then those microparticles that are going up into the air are going to be smaller, so they're going to suspend in the air for a longer period of time, so you're going to have longer benefits. The other is how long I see them last. Now I have Lotus myself, that is the design before this one. It's like Lotus 1.0, and it still works from 2011. And that is unusual, and yet it's kind of common too. I see the doTERRA diffusers last for years. Now, when my kids went off to college, I did buy, you know, just a cheapy diffuser here or there, because I didn't know how great their roommates were going to treat them, if it was going to just go home with somebody else, you know, things like that. But in the most of the time, you get greater benefits of the higher functioning diffuser, like those smaller microparticles in the air. And as long as you know that that diffuser is not going to be going anywhere, like in a college dorm room, then I would say make the investment in a diffuser that's going to last you longer. And doTERRA's return policy is really good if there's any problems too. Okay, here are some other pieces of support. Remember when I said that any essential oil is going to help support emotionally? So when you look at the kids collection, like, we need to not overlook what our young friends are overhearing, what they're experiencing, how much their lives have changed. They pick up on the stress of the people around them, the grown-ups. You know, we can even be working really hard to protect them, and they can pick up on our energy. So even if all you can get into your home right now for the little people, or maybe even shipping something off to some little people you love that don't live near you, is just a couple of these kids blends, they are formulated with kids in mind. The aromas are things that are attractive to kids, and the specific oils that are in them are good for kids. So the stronger is a little bit like a kid's On Guard. That's a protective blend, right? It's different oils. It's actually Litsea in there, which has more antiviral properties. And it's a little bit more if we were using the On Guard Plus soft gels, but it's super great for kids. That Tamer is good for tummy. The Rescuer is a little bit like a kid's Deep Blue. So anytime that they're achy, it's also good when someone has a fever. We rub that down the spine and it's got a nice cooling effect. And then that Thinker and the Calmer and the Steady, those are emotional support blends. So they do come all together in a collection. That's how you get those cute little lanyards, is you get the whole collection all together, or you can get each one individually. And I just want you to know, like, I have a Steady here on my desk. So these aren't just for kids. And these are some of the oils that Noah has on his nightstand that are just his. We know he can freely use these, and they're safe. He's going to be, I mean, especially, he's almost man-sized. But even my grandkids, they can just freely use these, and we know that they're safe for them. I'm putting this up because I wanted to let you know that there's lots of education after initial learning like this. So these are examples of different sheets that I send out to help educate people. So the Balance is one we talked about already. And then the Citrus Bliss is another one of those long-standing emotional support blends that doTERRA has part of their line for a long time. And it can be, the Citrus Bliss especially can be super great for helping lift the mood of everybody in the house, right? That citrus aroma is just, it's just beautiful. And anytime we're smelling something that triggers that amygdala, that olfactory system, we calm down the fight, flight, or freeze, then we're regulating the cortisol responses, we're regulating what's going on in our gut and in our digestive system, and that then impacts the immune system too. So all three are connected. These are another great support if you have any of doTERRA's emotional aromatherapy oils. Again, they can be gotten all in one set, or you can just use each one individually. I wanted to put this wheel in here because maybe, like when we looked at that picture at the very beginning, the woman who you could tell she just was having such a hard time. Maybe you have a particular emotion that you know that title of that emotion's been coming up for you a bunch lately. So I wanted to put this here so you could self-select. Like if you're feeling a lot of anxiousness, then that piece is going to help you along with the adaptive system, right? If you're finding that you keep getting angry, you're frustrated, you're kind of not being the person that you love being around everybody, then maybe that forgive, right? That forgive is going to help you to still take that emotion, feel it, work through it, and help it to clear out instead of just hanging out in your body. Okay, what's next? I'm going to go through these next slides really fast because I know there's always people that haven't been to an oil class before. When you're working with natural things, we're looking at the root cause. When you're looking at more like the Western approach, it's symptomatic. What you can do with many essential oils is both. And the way you have long-term sustainable change is by working on the root cause. So let's say lavender. I can take my lavender, I can put it on a burn, and it's going to help remove that pain. I've seen blisters go down, and that is a symptomatic approach. I can also take lavender and put it across my forehead every single night at bedtime, and those natural antihistamines in that lavender are going to help my body to not have the same histamine responses on a daily basis as what I might have been dealing with for years. In fact, my own personal experiences, that habit of putting lavender across my forehead every night has now made it so I haven't had a sinus infection since 2012. So pretty miraculous. There are three cool things about essential oils. They are safe, they are effective, the body recognizes them just like food. They can enter into the cells in different ways. Again, go to pubmed.gov if you want to learn a little bit more about that. Frankincense, On Guard, many of the different oils we talk about, they can impact things inside the cells as well as outside. They're also affordable. They are pennies to the drop. And especially with how we are now navigating more of our things at home, more and more people are like, I'd rather not have to run to the doctor for something I can manage at home. it is being a motivator for people to take a look at the essential oils they have in their cupboard, or maybe even some other ones they want to add to their collection in a completely different way. I know we personally have saved hundreds and hundreds of dollars on medical costs because there are times when the big guns are needed. I'm so grateful I live in the US. I have volunteered and helped in hospitals and clinics in developing countries. And if I'm going to have an emergency, there's no place I would rather be than in the US. And the truth of the matter is, we handle 90% of what comes up for us on a daily basis with our essential oils and our natural products. And very rarely are we needing to go and get the help of an urgent care or of a doctor or of an emergency room. There's 3 ways to use them. I covered some of them in what we talked about. Aromatically, you can also use them topically, and here you can see the coconut oil is a great way to dilute. Safety-wise, I always like to bring this up. Even if you get an essential oil in your eye, pick a clean finger, put some essential oil inside the palm of your hand, put that clean fingertip into that little puddle of, I'm sorry, I said essential oil, that little puddle of coconut oil that's in the palm of your hand. And then you can just tip your head back and touch the corner of your eye and blink and let that little bit of coconut oil go in. And if it's still stingy, you get a little bit more of that coconut oil on that clean fingertip, put it in the corner of your eye, tip your head back and blink, and just keep doing that until that sensation of the essential oil being in your eye goes away. Because that dilution, that bringing down the parts per billion that's causing that response, the essential oil being in your eye, that can be mitigated with the coconut oil. And then you can also use them internally. And again, doTERRA really clearly marks which essential oils you can use internally. They have a supplement label on the back of them. So if you're ever in doubt, take a look at the bottle. If there's a supplement facts label on there, it's okay for internal use. If there's no supplement facts label, then it's just meant for topical and for aromatic. And again, here's an example of using a glass water bottle when you're going to use the oils internally. So again, when you're taking a look at these natural solutions and looking for ways to address the root cause, that is where all the things we've talked about today, recognizing, having that knowledge of how all these systems are connected. Like if I want to balance my hormones, it's the same situation. I take a look at how do I balance my gut and my brain so that then my endocrine system is not having those same responses and I can have an impact on my hormones. There's 3 different ways to get doTERRA's oils. The first is retail. It's the most expensive way. And really the only time someone pays retail is like they walk into their chiropractic office and it's for sale right there on the shelves. And honestly, nobody ever buys this way from me. The second way is wholesale. It's just like a Costco account. You get the best prices. It's 25% below retail. And this way is the way that most people purchase. And it is not the same way as if you're going to sell or be a distributor. I think that's one of the #1 things for people to understand is when you have a wholesale account, it really is just like a Costco account. You can't sell. There's nothing that has to do with being a distributor connected to being a wholesale member. And then the third way is below wholesale. And this you have with your wholesale membership, you have the opportunity to earn free products and also get back points, and those points spend just like dollars on the loyalty rewards program. Another way that people purchase below wholesale is when they first set up their account. When they get one of the collections, they're already priced at below wholesale. So in summary, there's 3 ways: retail, wholesale, and below wholesale. I'm going to show you a couple of collections that I find that everybody is turning towards right now. This Healthy Habits Kit, doTERRA has 4 collections they've put on sale right now just to the end of today, only for people that are setting up new accounts. And this is one of them, this Healthy Habits Kit. You can see that several of the oils that we talked about today that are good for balancing the mind, the gut, and the brain are all inside this collection. And it also includes that Lifelong Vitality Pack. So this has the $35 fee that it takes to set up your wholesale membership rolled in. So you have automatic savings there. That gives you 25% off any of your purchases for a whole year. and it's also 20% off. So this kit, only till the end of today, it only costs you a little over $150, and usually it comes in at more like $205, I think it is. This also is something that is not normally something can set up a wholesale account with, and it is a way that somebody can get those On Guard soft gels. So this is another thing just to let you guys know that I'm seeing a lot of people get right now. Whether you already have a doTERRA account or whether you don't have one yet and you want to set up, you can use this as a way to get started. So only right now, with everything that's been going on in the country, doTERRA usually has this only as a loyalty rewards kit, meaning only somebody could get it if they already had their account with doTERRA. And they have made it so that someone can pay that $35 membership fee, and then we can add this into the cart so that they can get all of these things. And again, I believe the savings over just getting these things all individually is about a $53 savings than if you tried to purchase them all individually. But you can't get the On Guard soft gels unless they're packaged inside one of the collections right now, because they don't have them unless they've already been packed inside of the collections. These are the 4 collections that are all on sale right now. I didn't want to mention that and have somebody be like, well, what if I'm interested in a different one? So this slide shows you the savings for each one. Oh, look, the Healthy Habits is actually $114 savings. It's more than what I thought it was. These are the 4 that are on sale right now. And as you can see, 3 of them have those On Guard products in them. The Natural Solutions also has those soft gels in there as well. You can also, like, let's say you were like, well, I really want the Healthy Habits, but I really want to have a diffuser. That's not a problem, because once you get that original, this is what I'm going to set my account up with thing in the cart, you can always add a diffuser to that too. One last thing, if you do decide you want to move forward with setting up a wholesale account today, and whether it's with me or with somebody else that I help teach and educate to be an essential oil expert, or even if it's somebody that's not connected to me, there's somebody, there is somebody who is doing this special program with doTERRA that's called Diamond Club. It's a leadership development program, and it makes it so that if you set up your wholesale account with at least 100 PV, and that PV stands for product value, then you get a free citrus bliss oil. If you set up your wholesale account with at least 300 PV, and again, that just stands for the wholesale value, then you get a free adaptive oil and you get a free citrus bliss. So let's go back to the garden. What have you thought about, as we've talked about all these things that you can do to help support, just like that little marigold, that symbiotic planting inside the garden of your gut and in your brain and in your immune system? The things that you eat, the habits that you have each day. Remember when we started out and I said I wanted you to walk away with one thing you were going to do different? Oh, and I just realized my water slide must have been hidden. That's another key right now. Do something to track your water right now. Your routine might be different. You're not going to the places you usually go. Make it a priority to track your water. Get a water bottle or a special glass that you love. One of the things I do is I'll put hairbands on my water bottle, and I put enough on there so that I know that if I start them all out up at the top of the water bottle, and then as I empty the water bottle, I'll slide one down. So then I know by the end of the day, if I've slid all 4 of the hairbands down to the bottom of the water bottle, I've gotten my water in for the day, right? So do something to track your water so that you're getting that hydration that your brain and your gut and your immune system need too. So if you are live with me now, you can put in the comments. I'd love to hear what are your takeaways? What have you learned from what I've presented today that you're going to be able to put into your life right now to be able to help yourself to feel stronger emotionally and physically, to support your gut and your brain and your immune system? Hey, it's Rosie Grummer again. Thanks for watching the video. We're so happy to provide things here for you to learn all about using your doTERRA oils and your doTERRA products. Hit subscribe, like the video, and share this with somebody else you know that would love to learn too. See you next time.